What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to SoCal Exploring. My name is Scott, and you're watching your stop for all things theme park and attraction related. If you guys are new here, consider subscribing down below with those bell notifications on, and make sure you're checking us out on social media, both Instagram and on Twitter. And leave this video a like at the end, please, if you enjoy it. It does help with the channel a whole lot. Well, everybody, today we got two Halloween Horror Nights announcement videos, and if you're watching either of these videos right now and you haven't watched the other video, then make sure to go check that out. It'll either be on my channel later on, or it's already on my channel. And that's why we're talking about The Bride of Frankenstein Lives and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which, like I said, will be two separate videos on this channel in the same day. In this video, we're going to be talking about Universal Monsters of The Bride of Frankenstein Lives. I'm going to give you guys a quick breakdown of what to expect in the maze, the information that we already know, and everything that was taken away from the press release today. Alright, now Bride of Frankenstein Lives is going to be a house in Orlando, and it's going to be a maze in Hollywood. In Orlando, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the exact same, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that real quick, because even though it's going to be the exact same house, there's still going to be major differences throughout that. And by major differences, I mean no plexiglass and different boo holes that they can utilize that they weren't able to utilize during the pandemic last year when they had their HHN Light event. Obviously, there were a lot more restrictions, but now they can use way more boo holes. There can be no plexiglass, and there can be tons of great scares, because for those of you guys who did walk through that house, as myself did, you can really tell how many missed scare opportunities there were because of plexiglass or because of social distancing. And even though they still scared the living hell out of you, being 6 feet away and being at a distance scaring you, the amount of scare scenes in there that were missed are going to be amazing this year in Orlando. Like, there are going to be so many terrifying scenes, so many terrifying corners that you're going to turn, and all of a sudden the bride's going to pop out of nowhere and scare the living hell out of you. And no, The Bride of Frankenstein Lives in Orlando was already a great house for HHN Light, so now it's just going to be 10 times better. I'm extremely excited to see all the differences without the plexiglass. I don't think any of the scenes will be differently, but like I said, I do think a lot of the stuff will be 10 times better because of the removal of plexiglass and the forced social distancing that was going on with the restrictions back in October/September for HHN Light. Now moving into Hollywood, this maze is going to be located in the Parisian Courtyard as confirmed by John Murdy himself. Now, if you're comparing the two experiences between Orlando and Hollywood, well, they're going to be quite different from each other. They're still going to be the same kind of storyline and everything. It's going to be a direct sequel from the 1935 classic film, although there are going to be a little bit of twist here and there. Of course, we're going to see the bride of Frankenstein, all throughout this maze as she tries her best to bring Frankenstein back to life, and that was the whole concept of Orlando's house. Although, like I said, it's going to be different. There's going to be different scenes. Obviously, Hollywood has a way different way of creating different scenes and bringing them to life than Orlando does, and to each their own. I think some have their pros, some have their cons. Now, you know, we all like to talk crap and poke fun at some of the black wall transition scenes and just the lack of quality in Hollywood sometimes. However, I will say this: John Murdy delivers with these Universal Monster mazes. I mean, he had Universal Monsters in 2018, which was probably one of the best mazes, hands down, of all of the Halloween Horror Nights history. And then you had Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, which wasn't as good as Universal Monsters, but still was one of the best mazes that I ever walked through in, recent years. Now, with The Bride of Frankenstein Lives, I feel like he's not going to let anybody down at all. I feel like he's going to really take the time to develop this storyline and really dive into the twisted head of the bride who's trying to bring Frankenstein back to life. And of course, we're going to get to see Dracula's brides in Hollywood, so that'll be fun. We got to see them in Orlando, now we get to see them come over to Hollywood. He kind of hinted at the whole book facade that all of us are kind of speculating on right now, hinting at it being the Book of Frankenstein. He also mentioned, he did a little teaser that, something's going to be popping up in that location very, very soon. So for all of you weekly construction updaters, because, I love doing my construction updates, I just can't get out there weekly, but be on the lookout, because there is going to be, I'm assuming, detail on that book facade very, very soon. I'd say within the next couple of days, if John Murdy is already talking about this. My wallpaper actually is The Bride of Frankenstein Lives right there. Shout out to Horror Night Nightmares. You can get one of these wallpapers for your phone or your desktop, your computer. This is definitely on my like top 3 anticipation list for sure. I think that this maze is going to knock it out of the park. I think it's going to be scary. I think the story and scenes and the way it's brought to life is going to be amazing. I mean, just from the trailer alone, if you guys watch that trailer, the trailer is awesome. It's like a cinematic masterpiece. It almost feels like a mini movie. And man, I am just such a big fan of that trailer. It is probably one of the best, if not the best, trailers that Halloween Horror Nights has ever released. And that may be an understatement, that may be an overstatement. All I know is that trailer was wonderful. Like I said, cinematic masterpiece right there. Let's pull a couple things out of the press release and read their description for Universal Monsters: The Bride of Frankenstein Lives. At its core, Halloween Horror Nights is an extension of the horror film legacy originated by Universal Pictures, and the event continues to honor its blockbuster history with a haunted maze highlighting one of the studio's most sinister creatures, the Bride of Frankenstein. Universal Monsters: The Bride of Frankenstein Lives picks up where the 1935 classic film The Bride of Frankenstein left off, thrusting guests into chaos as the bride becomes an unstoppable scientist and begins her mission to revive Frankenstein's monster. Her unwavering quest to find eternal life will come at a cost, and guests will soon find themselves entwined in a frenzied battle in their daring attempt to escape. Now, I don't know about you guys, but getting the announcement for The Bride of Frankenstein Lives really excites me for the future. And you may be asking yourself, what do you mean for the future? Well, it first did Universal Monsters 2018, right? Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman followed up in 2019. Now in 2021, Bride of Frankenstein Lives. That means the possibilities are endless for the classic monster mazes, and the classic monster mazes are amazing at Halloween Horror Nights. So let's hope that they continue this series. They did say in that press release that they continue to honor their classic monsters, so hopefully that means for further years as well for Halloween Horror Nights. I'm excited for this. I'm just as excited as I am for the Haunting of Hill House that just got announced last week, and I'm excited that possibly we're going to get an announcement every week leading up until the opening night of the event. I'm assuming Thursdays will be the day, although even though we got a double announcement, I'm not quite sure on how that's going to work. Maybe Scare Zones will get announced next week, maybe a show, or maybe it's going to be another maze. All I'm saying is just be on the lookout for social media, YouTube, all that fun stuff, because Halloween Horror Nights is in full swing. So I want to know what you guys think down below of The Bride of Frankenstein Lives returning to Halloween Horror Nights 30 in Orlando and debuting at Universal Studios Hollywood for Halloween Horror Nights 2021. Are you excited for the maze? What are you most excited for it about? And do you have any speculation on what we're going to see inside of it? Even though we kind of have an idea, I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments section, so let me know. I do read all the comments. I try my best to favorite each and every one of them, to like acknowledge that I've read it, but I do try my best to read all of your guys' comments. So make sure to leave a comment down below on your thoughts of today's announcement. But that's going to do it for this video. If you guys have not checked out the Texas Chainsaw Massacre announcement video that I have uploaded on my channel, it's either coming on later today or it's already up on the channel, so make sure to go check that one out as well, because it was a double announcement today for Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood. My name is Scott, and you've been watching SoCal Exploring. Positivity is key, and most importantly, remember to keep exploring. Peace out, everybody.